So we left on the last one trying to find the 6 different trig functions, right, of any kind of theta. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to focus on trying to find a theta of a specific angle. And we're going to work on an angle that is known as quadrilaterals, right? Or not quadrilaterals, quadrantal angles. All right, and what these quadrantal angles are they are angles, so an angle that ends on an axis. Right, so we remember from our previous one, so if I start here, I got 0 degrees, I have 90 degrees, I have 180 degrees, 270, back to 360. So I can kind of figure out all of these, and I can keep going around, right, talk about my coterminal angle. I can also go backwards, right? This could be the negative 90 degrees, this is negative 180, this is negative 270, negative 360. So we'll go, again, a lot of different angles that we can have. Okay, so what happens if we have a point that's on one of those angles, right? So here's our first one. Let's do 90 degrees. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is if this is 90 degrees, we want to pick some point that is on here, right? It doesn't matter what the point is. Let's label this 0, 3, right? So it doesn't matter what that point is. Now, here's my dilemma, right? As I go from here to here, right? Again, here's my theta, which again is 90 degrees. There's no way I can create a right triangle from my origin to this point. I can just connect the lines together. So I have a dilemma. So instead of creating a triangle like we were doing, say, a problem like this, where I could easily find my x and my y and find my ray, it's a little more challenging on a problem like this. So what we want to do is we kind of just want to focus on the equation x squared plus y squared is equal to r squared. So again, x squared would be 0, y squared is 3, and then r squared. So 0 plus 9 is 9. And notice that the r is equal to 3. R is equal to the same value as our y coordinate. I want you guys to hold on to that thought for a moment. So now let's find our 6th trig. So the sine of theta is your y over your r, so your y is 3 over 3. So 3 over 3, which breaks down to 1. That's easy. I'll find the reciprocal right now. So again, if I flip this around, again, it's still going to be 3 over 3. So it also equals 1. My cosine of theta, so that'll be my my x, so 0 over r, so 0 over 3 is equal to 0. All right. And then the secant of theta will be 3 over 0. Uh-oh, here we can't have this. So this is undefined, right? So does not exist, or aka undefined. Okay, let's try tangent. So tangent of theta is your y, 3 over your x. Uh-oh. Again, another one, does not exist. Okay, let's try cotangent of theta, and that'll be a 0 over 3. Okay, that gives you 0. Okay, now the other thing here is this, right? Unlike the problem here, we didn't know what our theta was. This one I actually do know what my theta was. So instead of writing theta, what we can do is I can replace all of these values now with the actual number that I know. This is actually 90 degrees. 90 degrees, 90 degrees, 90, 90, and 90. All right, so once we actually know our theta, we want to actually put that in there. Okay, again, we want to pick any point that would that makes it true. So again, when we have difficulty, you could pick anything. Again, pick any point that for this to be true. All right, so let's pick another one. So let's do, let's create another axis. So let's create another one. Let's go with 180 degrees. So let's do 180 degrees. So 180 degrees would be on this coordinate. So what I want you to do is I want you to pause the video. I want you to pick any point that is basically a number, comma, 0, and see what you get, and see if you get something that's similar to mine. All right, if you're coming back from a pause video, I'm going to be crazy. I'm going to say negative 10 comma 0. I doubt that anyone picked negative 10 comma 0, but maybe I'm wrong. So negative 10 squared plus 0 squared is equal to r squared. So 100 is equal to r squared. R is equal to 10. Interesting. So notice that we still get 10, except this is negative and this is positive. All right, let's go ahead and try to find our values. So we're going to say sine of, now this time we're going to say 180 degrees is equal to y, 0, over 10, which gives you 0. Not bad, right? Cosecant of 180 degrees will be 10 over 0, which again, undefined, does not exist. Cosine of 180 degrees would be x over r, which gives you negative 1. And then secant of 180 degrees is also 10 over negative 10, which also gives you negative 1. Okay. And let's do not cotangent yet. Let's do tangent. So tangent of 180 degrees is equal to your y, so 0 over negative 10, which gives you 0. And then cotangent of 180 degrees is negative 10 over 0, which gives you undefined. All right? So notice that we're always getting 0, negative 1, and negative 1 or 0 undefined. Same thing happened here. We got some 1s, we got some 0s, we got undefined. I wonder if we pick another type of problem, if we're going to get something different. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's do one more. So let's go ahead and do, let's say 270. So we'll do at least 3 of these. So this would be right here. So let's go ahead and let's pick an easy one. I'm going to say 0, negative 1. Okay, so again, 0 squared plus negative 1 squared is equal to r squared. So 0 plus 1 is 1. R is equal to 1. Interesting. Okay, so what we're noticing is your r is always the positive version of either your x or your y, depending on what axis you're on. Okay, so let's go ahead. Sine of 270 degrees. So that would be your negative 1 over 1, which gives you negative 1. Cosecant of 180 should also be negative 1. Cosine of 270, so this will be a 0 over 1, 0. What do we think secant is going to be? Ooh, I put 180 right there. That's not supposed to be 180. That is supposed to be 270. So 270, you got it. It's 0, oh, sorry. Messed up again. It's 1 over 0, which is undefined. Tangent of 270, which gives us your y over x. So again, that's also undefined. And then last but not least, 0 over negative 1, which gives you 0. So whenever you're dealing with quadrantal angles, right? Quadrantal angles, so quadrantal angles, right? Oops, angles will always, spell that better, will always, where did P come from? I was about to say produce, always produce 0, plus or minus 1, and undefined. Okay, we can try it for anything. We could have tried it for 360. We could have tried it for 0. So try that always out. So it'll always be 0, 1, negative 1, or undefined for any of your problems. Okay, and there will always be something that will be undefined. And how can I use this, right? What I now can do is I can actually simplify an easy problem, right? So I can simplify this. So let's say I'm going to simplify sine of 90 degrees, and then I'm going to add that with the cosine of 180 degrees, right? Easy peasy. So sine of 90 we've already done. So sine of 90 degrees is 1, right? So I'm going to come back over here and I'm going to replace that with a 1. And then cosine of 180, right? So cosine of 180 is negative 1. So 1 plus negative 1. And that gives me 0. So this expression is equal to 0. So I can now use my expressions to kind of figure out kind of what's happening.